Okay, it is trade season in the NBA, and I'm going to tell you why trades are going to be heating up. So you might want to pay attention to this. It is that weird time when trades are starting to heat up. I was reading an article on The Athletic, and I'll share it with you real quick. We'll just pop right into this. And the reason I read it is because Bogey was part of it. But on Thursday, nearly 90% of NBA players become trade eligible, and the marketplace will open in full force ahead of the G League showcase in Las Vegas from December 19 to 22. The reason this gives this showcase is a reason that, or a time that trades happen, is another example of why the NBA just knows what it's doing. It's kind of like the summer meetings in baseball. The NBA has this G League showcase. All the GMs go and are present at this. And they use this for two things: to evaluate the talent in the G League, to see them, to be able to talk to players, things like that, but also to be able to talk to each other. This is when a lot of trades are born. This is kind of like the brainchild of a lot of trades that already are in motion, and then they get either executed or they start at these at this time. So one thing I thought was really interesting, and a lot of teams are talking about Bojan Bogdanovic. And is he going to be traded? And of course, like with any trade rumor, the LA Lakers are going to be involved. We played LA this week, and what we can know about LA is that they are frustrating. It's kind of like the Detroit LA. It's that rivalry. We don't love each other. We kind of hate each other. We've also kind of had their number, but they overall have been historically the better team. So it's kind of one of those weird things with LA. It's like we put an end to their dynasty with Shaq and Kobe, and we put an end really to their dynasty with Magic and all those guys back in the early 90s. So we've ended two of the LA dynasties. The thing is, they've had many dynasties. And so they're good, but they are, of course, pursuing Bojan because if you see LA play, the one thing they're missing is outside shooting. They are ranked 30th. There are 30 teams in the NBA and 3-point field goal percentage. They have some players that are starting to play that are filling in good roles, but they need shooting on the outside. They need a consistent scorer. They need somebody else to be able to pick up the slack. If you have been watching Bojan Bogdanovic this season, you understand this dude is so much more than a shooter. He is a scorer. He knows how to score the ball. He is a guy that you can put the ball in his hands. He can make stuff happen. So we're going to look at his stats a little bit later in this and talk about how good of a player he is. But first, I want to talk about what the rumored trades are for him, what we would be getting in return, and kind of go from there. So let's look at this and let's see what they're saying. We know about the Lakers. The Lakers are prioritizing shooting in their conversation with teams and have discussed packages including salaries and a protected first round pick for Detroit's Bojan Bogdanovic. They are saying in this, and this is The Athletic, and if you guys don't have The Athletic, let me just say it is good. I like The Athletic. I promise they are not sponsoring this video in any way, shape, or form, but especially for the Pistons, James Edwards III does a phenomenal job, and I think it is by far the best writing out there. So anyways, he is the best writer out there on the Pistons, bar none. So anyways, you have James Edwards and you have this, but a lot of the sources for this trade and the other trades that they went to talk about on that, they renamed or they remained in anonymity because they wanted to be able to be freely open. And that could be, hey, we don't have good sources, or that could be, no, we really do have good sources and we wanted to get good juice. So I think there is some merit to this. So the question then becomes, is salary matching and a protected first round pick enough for this guy? This is a guy who has averaged 21 points, 3.6 rebounds, 2.4 assists, but the numbers, that's not it, because here's where his bread is buttered. He plays 30.9 minutes per game, 31 minutes per game. That's not an extremely high amount. It's pretty high for a guy of his age, but it's not that much. And he is averaging 21 points per game while doing it. And he is doing that while shooting at 51% from the field and almost 44% from three and 89% from the line. So when you look at this, more than anything else, it's the efficiency in which he is doing it. Now, he is averaging 2.4 turnovers per game. So his assist to turnover ratio, not good, even one. It's nothing. One turnover to one assist. That's what the average is. But he is shooting at a high volume and he is putting up a good percentage of shots. And he's doing that while being the leading scorer. I don't think anybody knew if that was something Bojan Bogdanovic had the ability to do. We all knew that he was a good scorer, scoring 18, 19 points a game next to Mitchell. And he had Conley on that team in Utah. So the question was, could he continue to be as efficient and effective when being the number one or number two choice? Well, he's been the number one scoring option for the Pistons this year. He leads the team in scoring, and he did when Cade was playing too, by the way. I don't think that was going to last that long, but he did lead the team while Cade was playing, and he is more efficient than he's ever been shooting the ball. So is salary fillers and a protected first round pick enough for Bojan Bogdanovic? That's a question I want you to answer in the comment section below. It's below that subscribe button. But I also want to answer it for you because my answer is depends on who comes back with that contract. If you get a guy like Lonnie Walker, who has been playing really well this year, averaging 16 points, which is a career high from three, career high field goal percentage for him. He has been a good player. I think if you get Lonnie Walker in a first round pick, it might be because then you have a guy that could be part of the long-term future. And I think what the Pistons are finding with Sadiq continuing to struggle with his shooting percentages off last year, he's doing a much better job at finishing at the rim. But with his shooting or his field goal percentage continuing to struggle, we have a little bit of a hole. At the small forward position. So is a guy like Lonnie Walker, is he able to fill in and do that type of, I don't know how else to say it, but is he big enough to play the three? I mean, he's 6'4". He's averaging, like I said, 16 points. He's shooting almost 48% from the field. He is honestly playing really, really well. He's shooting for a career. He's a 35% three-point shooter, but this year he's at 39. So would that be worth it? And is that something the Lakers would want for the provenness that is Bojan Bogdanovic? I don't know. And I think that's the hard struggle is I think we want to have capital, but we have to ask ourselves the question, with the team we currently have, when Cade comes back, with a high first round pick that we'll be getting this year, again, based on what our record's going to be or for next year, do we actually want to get rid of all of our best veteran players? Because when you watch the Pistons now, the reason we're staying in the games is not Jaden Ivey. The reason we're staying in games is not Jalen Duren. They're good, and they're good for rookies. But the reason we're staying in games and winning a game here or there is Bojan Bogdanovic, Alec Burks, even Marvin Bagley. You're looking at these guys who are more of a veteran presence, and their scores. They know how to score, and they know the importance during the flow of the game. They are going to get you a bucket when you need a bucket. And so they're going to get you a stop when you need a stop. They understand that more so than the young guys. So you can't just say, see ya to all these guys. You have to keep some of them. And I think further than just the play, Bojan has been a proven leader. So here's the deal. If December 15 comes and then you have the G League Showcase December 19 through 22, and then right here shortly before Christmas, all of a sudden we hear that Bojan Bogdanovic, or shortly after Christmas, we hear that Bogdanovic has been traded to the LA Lakers for, we'll say, Lonnie Walker and a protected first round pick in 2025 or whatever. You are going to have me come out here with a video saying, I get it. I don't know if I love it. I don't know if I hate it. Let's see what Lonnie Walker becomes. Let's see what that pick becomes. I would like to say to LA, hey, you're so confident in your team, give me an unprotected first round pick. And I don't know when they can trade a first round pick. It might not be till 2027. I don't know. But that also accruing assets later on is not the worst thing in the world. It's not the worst thing in the world. I think so often we think, oh, if it's not a pick for 5 years, I don't want it. That's not necessarily true because at that time, Cade Cunningham's going to be getting paid. Jaden Ivey's going to be getting paid. Isaiah Stewart's going to be getting paid. Jalen Duren is going to be getting paid. All these guys and their contracts are going to be coming due, and we might not be able to afford every single one of them. Bojan Bogdanovic probably will be retired. Okay. And if he's not retired, he'll be playing 15 minutes off the bench. So in 5 years. So when I look at that, like that pick down the line, that's not the worst thing because you can replenish talent that you either can't afford because of the salary cap, or you're adding a piece to this core that's young and talented, and you might just need one piece from a rookie or second year player that can go out and help you as part of your rotation that you wouldn't have had because your team is better. So I don't hate the idea of future picks down the line. I hate the idea. What I don't like is protecting a pick forever and not knowing when you're going to have it and when you're not. I really struggle with kicking the can down the road like that. I don't struggle with getting future picks in the future. That was an obvious statement, but like 5 years down the line, because you never know what's going to happen with that team. We just saw it with our other team in Detroit, the Detroit Lions, the Rams. We got 2 first-round picks. Year 1 looks like a horrible trade. Jared Goff is struggling. The Rams go win the Super Bowl. So we get the 32nd pick. It's like, oh, what are we doing? Well, now the Rams are 4-8, right? Now the Rams, or are they 4-9? Anyways, and it's a top 5 or 6 pick. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, maybe that was a good trade and Jared Goff looks good. You don't know what happens. Future assets are never a bad thing. So the Bogdanovich trade, you have to ask yourself one question. Is this team going to be able to compete for playoffs or a championship in the next 2 years? If they're not, you trade them. You trade them. If they are, and you truly believe that they can grow and develop so that next year you're making a run at the playoffs, and I'm not talking the play-in, I'm talking a top 6 seed. If you think you can be a top 6 seed, then you keep him because he will only help you win and get there. But if you don't think you can be a top 6 seed, if that's just something where you're like, nope, we're not there yet, that's 2 years away, 3 years away, trade him for a younger player and a future first-round pick. That's where I'm at with it. And let me know what you think. I love Bojan Bogdanovic. I don't want to just take guys in here to trade them. But the team is clearly struggling right now. And Wembanyama is a difference maker. I'm not saying wounded for Wembanyama. We already are wounded for Wembanyama. Cade's out. I don't like tanking for him. But if your team is struggling, understand your position and what can you do to make yourself better, not just next year, but in 3 years and in 5 years and in 6 years. All right. See you in the next one. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm at 13 minutes here. If you're still watching this, you clearly like it a little bit. All right. See ya.